The sneaker world has a botting problem. Well, it's actually because of low stock numbers, and bots are just what many people have to resort to even get a chance at scoring some hype sneakers. People without bots still do have a shot at purchasing for retail price, believe it or not, but it's unlikely. Throughout the years, online retailers have tried many ways to stop bots, and there have been several occasions where they've actually been successful. Early in 2018 was a golden age for sneaker botting. Anti-bot measures were nearly non-existent, duplicate orders went through without any issues, and the barriers to entry was relatively low. Later on during 2018 was when online retailers started to push back, and the platform that decimated sneaker bots was the Nike Sneakers app. At this point in time, the Nike Sneakers app has been a thing for 3 years already, but all of a sudden, all of the bots that supported this platform just didn't work anymore, and this lasted for several months. Because of this, the vast majority of bot developers that were trying to figure out Nike Sneakers app kind of just disappeared and abandoned their user base who paid hundreds of dollars for the software. By mid-2019 though, it looked like Ghost AIO and BNB Nike started to make some serious progress, and they were well on their way to bringing back the glory days of Nike Sneakers app botting. For a little bit over a year, these two bots have been working with a slight hint of consistency. But ultimately, as time progressed, Nike started to adapt to how these bots operated. Ghost AIO announced their departure, and BNB Nike has had a tremendously difficult time to gain any success at all, despite their best efforts. I actually find it quite impressive that every single Nike Sneakers app bot from 2018 is either completely out of business or completely obsolete. Nike beat them, but despite this incredible achievement, how many people outside of the botting community actually took notice? From my observation at least, they didn't notice at all. People said that bots dominated the Nike Sneakers app, even though no one was able to bot it successfully. Up until today, the casual sneakerhead never really gives Nike the credit they deserve for being able to accomplish this. The idea that Nike doesn't care about botting is just not true. In 2021, they've got some of the most sophisticated systems that prevent the app from being botted. Just a quick recap on how most releases on the app works, they released almost all of the hype sneakers via a raffle. The only difference between entering a draw and having a buy now button is how much time you have to enter the raffle. For a draw, you have 10 minutes, and if you see a buy now button, you have 2 to 3 minutes. As hundreds of thousands of people participate in these releases, Nike is able to filter out bot entries through several layers of bot protection. Now, even if you weren't botting, there are ways to create multiple accounts, submit multiple entries on multiple devices, and alter your address so that no two entries are identical. Implementing this strategy would, in theory, give you a better chance at winning the raffle, right? Well, that used to be the case, but now Nike is actually able to cross-reference these entries in real time, which means these entries would be flagged as bot entries, which means they wouldn't even be considered to win. Therefore, someone with 15 iPhones who try to game the system but isn't aware of how Nike's anti-bot works has less of a chance at copying hype sneakers from the sneakers app than the casual sneakerhead who has one device, one account, and one entry. So unfortunately, if you live in an apartment complex with a lot of resellers and sneakerheads, there's a chance that your entries are getting filtered out without you even knowing. And this can be a huge problem for regular consumers. This is just one layer of bot protection, and it gets much more complex than that. Of course, there will be people that have hit multiples going to the same address that will say that my information is wrong, but the strength and enforcement of these anti-bot systems can vary from product to product. In general, the more hype the sneaker is, the more strict the filter becomes. That way, people who try to game the system will think they have the system figured out during a less important release, which baits them into doing the same thing during a very hyped release, which inevitably causes them to fail against the stronger anti-bot measures. Sneakers app botting today isn't impossible. However, only a handful of people have truly mastered it, and even they have inconsistent results. At the end of the day, there is no such thing as a perfect anti-bot, because if a person can do it, then the bot can do it as well. And that's why I strongly believe that raffles in general is a terrible solution to stopping botters. Because with raffles, you will just have the same amount of botters, except you will have more opportunities for stores to backdoor, which means lower stock for everyone else and less transparency in general, which I think is even more annoying than difficult first come first serve releases even for people without bots. However, I can say with certainty that the Nike Sneakers app does do quite a good job with stopping bots. But that being said, sneakerheads who are fully against bots also hate the Nike Sneakers app. Recently, the Off-White Dunks have been releasing on their app. The release method for this pair of shoes is a little bit different from what I described earlier. The way it works for this is that certain accounts get chosen for exclusive access. If your account gets chosen, you will get a notification on your phone saying that you have been chosen, and when you open the app, the product page will show up where you can buy the sneakers. With everybody wanting these, the question on everyone's mind is, how do I get exclusive access? There was a ton of speculation going on. Some people were saying that you need to watch the content that's put out on the app, you need to heart different products, some even say you gotta buy stuff on your account before you get chosen. In theory, these actions make sense because you're trying to tell Nike's system, hey, I actually support your brand and I'm not a bot. If you don't get exclusive access, which usually came out on the same day every day for 2 weeks, which was 12 p.m. EST, there will be nothing on your app. It's as if the sneakers never released to begin with. And you can't help but think to yourself, what do I have to do to get this product to show up on my app? Try resetting it, try refreshing it, nothing. Yet it seems like 90% of people on Twitter are getting granted access to the sneakers. Meanwhile, you don't. Some people were even able to get access multiple times on a single account. As all of this was going on, everyone trying to get these shoes were trying to find patterns in which accounts got exclusive access. So were they new accounts, old accounts, were they accounts with a purchase history? After everyone's analysis, I can come to the conclusion that no one knows what you have to do to get access. And that can be extremely frustrating for anyone who wants to buy the sneakers. Whether or not you're a botter, collector, reseller, if you're going for sneaker releases, one of the most important ways to increase your chances is understanding where you went wrong, so you know not to make that same mistake again. When it comes to raffles, taking an L in theory should be chalked up to being unlucky. But you can't help but wonder, why are there some people who are able to hit consistently on the app for years? Meanwhile, you haven't taken a single W throughout the entire time you've been using it. Unless you're very lucky, we've all been there. This can lead you to believe that you are doing something wrong to not have taken a W for several months, despite entering every single release. And more than likely, there is something that you can do to help increase your chances of winning. But the Nike Sneakers app will never tell you what that is. Getting your entry filtered out and just getting unlucky is indistinguishable from each other. You wouldn't even know you're making a mistake, and even if you're trying to play fair and even if you did everything right, there's still always a chance that you just got unlucky for several months. This is way more infuriating than acknowledging that you just didn't check out fast enough during most other traditional online first come first serve releases. I should have been faster. Okay, I'll try to be faster next time. At least there's some level of certainty why you weren't able to check out. However, for the Nike Sneakers app, you are completely in the dark on whether or not your entry even counts, and this can make it a very unpleasant shopping experience for anyone. Essentially, Nike is enforcing a set of rules that will determine whether or not your raffle entry counts, and you don't even know what those rules are. Now imagine if you are in a classroom and the teacher just throws you out of their class, even though you seemingly didn't do anything wrong. You then ask the teacher, what did I do wrong? Please let me know so that I don't do the same mistake again. And the teacher then replies with, I can't tell you, but you better not do it next time. So then you go to your classmates and you ask them, what do you think I did wrong? And no one has a clue. To make things worse, the rules that you didn't even know to begin with keeps changing. Students who used to get straight A's gets thrown out of the classroom for seemingly no reason. And this is basically the Nike Sneakers app shopping experience. Except it's even worse because you don't actually know when you've been thrown out, or in other words, you don't know when your entry has been filtered out. No one wants to be in a classroom like this, and that's why almost everyone is unhappy with the Nike sneakers app. But hey, that's just a theory. Oh wait, that's the wrong show. And that's why reselling, in my opinion, is an important aspect of the sneaker community, even amongst people who aren't really all that into it. The idea is to go for every profitable sneaker, even if you don't want to wear it, so that you can sell it and then use that money to buy a pair that you do want, even if it's for resale price. Alright, now I'm just talking in general terms now, not just exclusive to the Nike app. The only difference between someone who bots and someone who doesn't bot is the level of risk involved between people attempting these online releases. People who don't bot in general don't have too much to risk. You attempt a few websites during drop time, and if you strike out, then you just move on. But if you're successful, you can easily turn a profit or have a nice pair of shoes on your feet. On the other hand, a botter can spend $2,000 or more on a single release, spend hours and hours setting up for a drop, and still not get anything. All of that money out the window, and so is the time spent setting up. And even if they did manage to hit a few pairs, would that be enough to cover the costs to run the bot? It's very possible for botters to lose thousands of dollars throughout the duration of a single month due to lack of success. That's why, in my opinion, if you really don't care about sneakers at all whatsoever and you are just 100% in it for the money, then you're probably just better off working a day job rather than trying to bot sneakers. Of course, there are many botters that end up having lucrative sneaker businesses, and some of them really don't care about sneakers. But either way, I don't think that means they are any less deserving to be in those positions of success. Too many people view the sneaker game as sneakerheads and collectors versus botters and resellers. In many ways, we're all on the same page. We just want to buy these limited sneakers. In fact, from my observations and interactions with botters every day, most of them are sneakerheads. These sneakers are very difficult to buy, regardless of whether or not you have a bot, because the stock numbers are very low. We can't control the stock numbers, but what we can control is the amount of effort and risks that we decide to take in attempting to buy these sneakers. We are competing with each other, but you'd be surprised how many people are willing to give you a helping hand. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.